Hey guys, I'm gonna put this before the video. I recorded this like 2 months ago, and sorry for the lighting. It's really light, I feel like, but I recorded this video 2 months ago, and I never got around to editing it. But I just thought it'd be fun to see how dysfunctional this video is. So please stick around to see how dysfunctional my reviews can get. So and also please like and subscribe. I could use that a lot. So thank you, and please enjoy the video. Alright guys, welcome back. New video. New video, I know. So I didn't upload for 2 weeks. And yeah. So, well actually longer than 2 weeks. So I actually looked this up. I haven't uploaded it since like May. And that you guys are getting 2 videos in the same week. Oh my god. Can you believe it? But now, yeah. So see, I'm gonna do another review of the Way of Kings by Brandon Saunderson. So I don't know how many of you have heard of Brandon Saunderson, but he's this big shot in fantasy. He's like, this really big fantasy author. And me being me, I'm like, oh, I would, I'm gonna have to check him out because I never read any of his books before, even though I've heard good things, like about this series, about the Stormlight Archives and like the Way of Kings, which is like the first book, and then also about like the Mistborn trilogy, and then he also finished like the Way of Kings, which I really want to get. Or yeah, so not the Wheel of Kings, the Wheel of Time. So it's like he did the Wheel of Time. Which I also really wanted to get into that too. But today I'm doing the Way of Kings by Brandon Saunderson, which is this is the first book in the Stormlight Archive series. Which I think there's a fifth one coming out if I remember correctly. It's like 5 or 6. Yeah, like somewhere around there, like fifth or sixth book is coming out. Which I'm kind of happy because he kind of, if I do remember correctly, he's starting to pick it up again. So he did 3 books and then kind of didn't do it for a while, and then now it's picking it up again, which I'm happy about. But actually, fun fact about this book is that he actually started writing this book in the 90s as a college. Like it started out as a college essay, and he took the characters from this essay or like paper, and then started to write The Way of Kings, and got rejected, and then it came out in 2010 finally. So it took a good amount of time to come out. But yeah, it's just I finally read it. That was my big summer read because I don't know if you guys have seen the Stormlight Archive books, but they're massive. They're thick boys, as I like to call them. But yeah, so I finally finished the first one, and again, I finally so I read it on this to review it just because I'm like I want to really think about it. It's because it was like one of those really big books that so see I don't know if you guys have ever read one of those big books that like by the end of it you're like what happened in the beginning. So this is me a little bit. So see I was a little, like since I kind of had to remind myself a little bit of what happened. So if you see me looking over here, it's because I have my sheet over here of books to read or of stuff from the book. I don't know. Sorry guys, I'm going too fast. I gotta calm down a little bit. But I really enjoyed this book. Now that like I always hate hearing about people. So like, I'm typically a guy that likes to discover people on his own, but I always heard really good things about Brandon Saunderson and his style of writing. And sometimes that ruins it for me, but not this time. This time I'm like, okay, this is actually worth the hype. Like, I understand the hype now. But it follows this world. So it starts out with like a prelude about these like heroes that like save the world, that they're like these pretty much superpowered people that save the world. And that one day they decide to just leave. They like F these people, bye. And so they left. And then years later, by years I mean centuries later, years, centuries, same thing. But so years later, or centuries later, I guess at this point, that they it picks up again around the same part. So it takes place years later, centuries later, thousands of years later, and it picks up with this guy trying to assassinate people, and he assassinates the king of this land, and pretty much yeah, and then he does the job, and that by the way that there's this thing called white brainers or something like white brainers I think it's called, where that they have these power to just suck in light. Which honestly that'd be a cool power. Not gonna lie, that would be, but and then also there's this thing called like shield bearers or garment bearers where they have shields and weapons based off of this. Which I'm not describing this good by the way, guys. So you should probably just look it up on your own. But But yeah, no, so yeah, so uh, that kind of explains a little bit because that the first part kind of brings in that white person, and then also uh, swords, whoever, like the sword armor and like sword weapons, and so pretty much the king dies, and then it cuts to another guy. So pretty much the whole first like 100 pages, 200 pages is just cut to all these people, but yeah, now and then it cuts to this guy on the battlefield who uh, he finally meets his commander who bought him, and named Kaladin, so that's the guy who bought him, and that. But the guy who you're seeing, but the guy's point of view that you're seeing it from also dies. But and then it cuts again to Kaladin like 5 years later, and just let me say, Kaladin is like the coolest guy ever. I would be best friends with that guy. So I would die for that man, even though he's not an actual character. I would die for Kaladin. But if I was Kaladin, who was the commander of this army that got decimated, or at least this unit, that got decimated by a sword bearer, and so pretty much like it's about him being a slave because he got captured because he tried to kill one of them, but he just killed the wrong guy, and then long story short, he got betrayed. So now he's a slave, and then there's another woman named Salin. I can never see these names. So, guys, these fantasy names are weird. Salin, who her family's struggling, so she's trying to meet this woman to steal a stone from her, so that she can use her stone for power and get money for her family because her dad died, and her dad was like a magic user that would fabricate money out of the you and just pay people. Kind of cool. But and then so she's trying to steal from this person who, for the longest time, that people believed that she was a heretic, and she thought this, and then she met her, and then yeah, and then that there was also Dowden. Listen, I can't say these names. Dowden, who he was the king's brother or best friend. So like one of the two, best friend or brother, same thing. But so the king that got assassinated. So now it's his job to look after his nephew, who is the new king. But Dowden is also having visions whenever there's a storm. And at first, that no one believes him, but it turns out they're true. Sorry, guys, for this quick recap, but so that no one believes these visions turns out to be true by the end of the book. And at first, I didn't like Samhain or Dowden at first, or Dalinar, whoever his name's Dalinar, I think that's his name. I didn't like either of them at first. Actually, I liked Samhain at first because I thought she was chill. She was like, "I'm gonna steal this shit," and but yeah, there's a lot going on. So if I'm like really poorly explaining it, my bad. But because guys, there's just like 1,000 page book here, so it's kind of hard to explain everything going on at once. But it kind of follows these people as they go through their lives, and like Kaladin, my boy, is a slave who becomes a bridge leader. So pretty much that in this world that they live on this world where there's gaps between every little part. Alright, well, my computer decided to sit better. But as I was saying, that yeah, so Kaladin was a slave and became a bridge runner, or a bridge leader, or bridge runner, and then became a bridge leader. What's that? They were these people that have to keep the bridges for the soldiers, so they cross the bridges and fight the enemy. And that so pretty much the enemy pretty much kills a lot of the bridge runners, because that they were an easy target because none of them were defended. So he pretty much finds a way to like save his men and like make sure his men don't die. Don't die. And then he is also he also finds he's a white runner, which I think is pretty cool. And then he starts fighting the enemy. That's when he becomes friends with Dalinar, because Dalinar saw him after he got stranded by his buddy in a battle. So now they're best friends. And then Sauron, she got caught. She finally stole the stone whatever she was trying to steal, and then she was trying to leave. And this why I started to hate her a little bit, because I figure in this part, Sauron was sort of like annoying. That she tries killing herself. And that's not the annoying part. I understand that part. But her character at this point in the story was kind of annoying. And not because of her killing herself, or trying to kill herself. It's just the character is just annoying. Her personality is annoying. The killing is not annoying. I'm probably gonna get demonetized because I just said that. But please don't cancel me, guys. But yeah, no. So pretty much that, and then Dallin is trying to figure out the physics throughout the book. Who I hated him for most of the book until the end when he found out the physics were real, and then him and Kaladin were best friends, and he bought Kaladin's freedom and his whole team's freedom, and I'm really excited. But there's a lot going on because it also went back to the guy who was the assassin who killed the king in the beginning of the book, which I forget his name, but his name was also really hard to pronounce too. So if I find it, I'm gonna put it like on like in this video, and to see if you guys can pronounce it, because I cannot pronounce that to save my life. But and then at the end, that guy shows up again. Oh, actually, no, never mind. So he did so throughout the book. So that guy did so throughout the book that he wasn't a major character. He was sort of a minor character throughout this whole thing. Where it's like I thought it was okay that the assassin was a minor character, but it's just like don't have an entire prelude or entire prologue just to him, and then not really doing that much with him afterwards. I don't know. That's my own gripe. So that's my one gripe. But like one of my gripes is like I feel like he didn't use some of these characters properly. Where it's like he could have done so much more. But and then there was another character who I forget his name now too, because I forgot to write it down. Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna remember it. Because he was one of my favorite characters. But he was pretty much the gesture of the king, and his whole job was to make fun of people. But towards the end of the book, he leaves. He just resigns. He says, "I'm done." And then you find out the reason why is because he's helping one of the heroes out. The hero that got left behind in the prelude shows up again in the epilogue. And he pretty much says, "I'm gonna mess things up." Which I know you guys are thinking, why don't you just say the F word? I don't know. I'm weird. But that's pretty much how it ended, and I'm excited because the heroes are back after all this questioning of like were they even real, they are real, and he's helping out the Dresser guy, who makes me happy. But as a whole, I thought this was a really good book. Definitely one of my favorite fantasy books. I know you guys are probably like, what were you just talking about for the past few minutes? Good question. I don't know either, but I really enjoyed this book. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. But that's mainly just because. So I loved the story. I really loved the story of this book. I really loved the direction it went. I just didn't like some of the characters, and I end up liking the characters a lot by the end of the book. Like all these characters, because like Shallon tried to kill herself, but she came back. Now she's slewing under this woman that she's trying to steal from. Dallin and Kaladin are buddies now, because that Kaladin is a light bringer, whoever, that white person. And that Kaladin saw that, and he has visions about what's happened to all these people, so they're friends. And then the Dresser guy is doing whatever the Dresser guy is doing. Which I'm pretty sure that's going to be answered at some point in the next couple books. I don't know, though. But some of these characters that they went through, I don't, like, there were points, like, Dallin, I didn't like Dallin. Like, in the very beginning, same with his sons. I hated his sons. It's like Alden, and then, like, I forget the other guy's name. But his kids, I thought were annoying. See, like, in the beginning, I liked his one son, Alden, like Aldelin or whatever. So I really liked his one son in the beginning, and I started to hate him towards the end, because it's like, I feel like that some of these characters, he just doesn't know what to do with these characters until their character development. And I don't know, that's just me. It's just, I feel like that some of these characters didn't do anything until the story needed it to do with something. And then, but the story as a whole, I thought was really good. It's just the characters. I just didn't like some of the characters, like how they were written, and like how it took a while for some of these characters to actually get development. Because I feel like some, like, characters to get development little by little throughout the story, but like I think a lot of these characters didn't really get that much development, and until like they only got in big chunks, which I didn't like. So hopefully I can finish this now. Sorry guys, you guys have probably seen a mess of the video, which I don't care. I'm gonna keep it in. But as I was trying to say, I liked the story. Sorry if I'm saying the same things over and over again. My computer keeps running out of space, and and I just forget where I left off at. But that pretty much, I like the characters. I just didn't like the character development of some of these characters, and I didn't like how they were handled throughout the story. And pretty much, yeah, that's all I gotta say. So I just didn't like the character development, but everything else, I loved the world that they set up here, for all the different stuff that I did not explain well. But I don't care. Okay, so I don't care if I explain it well. So yeah, like as long as I have fun, that's all that matters. But yeah, it's a really just good story and one I would recommend. I really want to keep going, and like especially since they're gonna keep making, like especially since he's still making books for the series, that I just really love it, and I really do hope that I will catch up. I do hope I catch up, and like I hope his storytelling gets better from this book. So yeah, I hope the other books are better. Just because it's like I think this was such a good start to a book, and yeah, so I think it was just such a good start to a book, and or to a series. I say not to a book, to a series. I thought it was a really good start to a series, and I hope like he continued it. And if you want to see more book reviews, please let me know. And I'm sure it'll be better than this. It's just my computer keeps running out of space, so hopefully the fix I have for it works. So I filmed way too many for you guys. But till next time, peace out. It's your boy Matty Ice.